Once upon a time, there lived a poor shoemaker and his wife. They worked hard every day making shoes to sell in the market. But no matter how hard they tried, they could not earn enough money. They were struggling to keep a roof over their heads. One day, the shoemaker realized he had no money left. He had only one last piece of leather in his shop. "This might be my last chance," he said to himself. He carefully cut the leather to make one final pair of shoes. By sunset, he finished cutting and began to sew the shoes. Night came, and he stopped, leaving the shoes on the table. The next morning, he was amazed to see a finished pair of shoes. They were beautiful, decorated with delicate embroidery. He sold the shoes at the market and earned enough money for leather. That day, he cut new leather and left it ready for the next night. The next morning, more shoes were waiting, perfectly made. This continued for several days, each pair different and beautiful. Soon, the shoemaker became famous for making the finest shoes. He and his wife built a nice house and lived more comfortably. But they wondered who was helping them. They decided to hide one night to find out. At midnight, two little elves entered the workshop. They wore old, torn clothes but worked with joy and skill. They danced and hummed while making beautiful shoes. The shoemaker and his wife watched quietly from hiding. When finished, the elves jumped out of the window and disappeared. The couple decided to thank them with gifts. They sewed tiny boots and warm clothes for the elves. On Christmas Eve, they placed the gifts on the table. The elves arrived at midnight and were surprised and happy. They wore the new clothes and boots, which fit perfectly. The elves danced with joy and left through the window. The shoemaker and his wife were happy to see them pleased. After that, the elves never returned. The shoemaker continued to work on his own, making beautiful shoes. He remembered what people liked and worked carefully every day. His shoes became as wonderful as those made by the elves. He and his wife lived happily, grateful for the elves' help and their life. They shared kindness, worked with care, and never forgot the lesson. The shoemaker became famous, customers returned, and the village prospered. Even without the elves, he worked with joy, patience, and skill. The memory of the elves inspired him to create beauty every day. He and his wife lived happily ever after, full of gratitude and hope.